Namaste everyone, and welcome to our recovery flow. Now when you're ready, I'd like you to make your way to the back of your mat in a kneeling position. Take your gaze ahead, take your spine nice and tall, and once you're in this position, take your arms behind your back and we're going to take a reverse prayer. So elbows come out to the side, open up through the chest, hold here, take an inhale, and then on your exhale, lower your forehead down towards the mat. Just going to take a child's pose position with this position with the arms. So this is a really great stretch for the front of the body, the chest, the shoulders, also the upper back as well. So just hold here for as long as possible, stretching out the front of the chest. Once this becomes a little bit too uncomfortable, you can just release your arms down to the side of your body, coming into a normal child's pose. But try and hold for as long as possible, opening through the chest and the shoulders. Now release from this position and take your arms out in front of you in a standard child's pose position, keeping your forehead on the mat, melting your heart center towards the earth, reaching your fingertips nice and far, getting a nice separation of the shoulder blades here, elongating through the spine as well. Now let's go deep into the hip and the leg. So come up slightly, extend out your right leg, and then sit back so that the glute comes resting down onto the left heel. Keep your leg nice and straight, forehead comes down to the mat if that's within your practice. Just taking a child's pose here, but we're getting deep into the inner thigh and the hip. Make sure your toes are pointed to the top of the mat, just so you're getting that optimum stretch, spine is nice and straight. If you'd like to make this slightly deeper, you can bring your left leg out slightly so that your hips come down onto the mat instead of onto the heel. This will just really open up the hips even more, making it more of a half frog posture. So just hold in whatever variation you are in. Take a few deep breaths and feel that opening. Now make your way back into a normal child's pose. Allow the forehead to come back down. Hold here for a nice long inhale and a deep exhale. Sigh it all out. Then come back up slightly and let's repeat on the left leg. So extend out the left leg to the side, foot is pointing forward, and then rest down with the glutes on the right heel. Again, if you want to take that variation where your glutes come down to the mat, the right heel comes slightly out towards the edge of the mat, then please do. That will just give you a nice deep stretch in the hips as well as the left inner thigh. Hold here, forehead down on the mat if that's within your practice, melting your heart center towards the mat. Now bring that left leg back into center, knees come together, feet come together, come back into normal child's pose. Then crawl those hands forward, allow the hips to point up towards the sky and come into our puppy pose. Make sure here that the knees are directly underneath the hips, you're sinking that chest in towards the mat. Shoulders are melting away from the ears, so you don't want to be hunching. We want to make sure this is nice and easy on the back, but also giving you a nice deep chest opening. You can either bring the forehead down, or to go slightly deeper into the chest, bring the chin down. Just take a few deep breaths here into the chest, filling up the lungs, and exhale all that tension, exhale all that no longer serves you. Begin to rise into 4-point kneeling, wrists stacked underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. We're just going to take a few rounds of cat-cow. So inhale, look forward and drop the belly down. Exhale, round the spine up, tuck the chin into the chest. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, round the spine up, chin to chest, taking a little crunch here. Inhale, look forward, open through the collarbones, open through the chest. Exhale, round up, take that crunch. Inhale, look forward, open through the chest. Exhale, little crunch into the belly. Inhale, drop the belly down, gazes ahead. Exhale, round the spine up, chin into the chest. A few more times, inhale, round the spine down. Exhale, round the spine up. Inhale, round the spine down again. Exhale, round the spine up. Inhale, round the spine down, gazes ahead. Exhale, round the spine up, tuck the chin into the chest. Inhale, look forward, belly comes down. Exhale, tuck the chin into the chest, take that crunch into the abs. Inhale, look forward one last time, drop the belly down. Then tuck the toes under, and we're going to push up into downward facing dog. Tailbone comes to the sky. Release the heels to the mat, straighten out the legs. Feel that opening in the back of the legs and the calves, the hamstrings and the glutes. Keep that spine nice and long. Hold for another breath here. Feel that deep opening in the chest cavity as well. Allow the shoulders to drop away from the ears. Keep that spine long. Maybe take a few pulses down towards the earth, getting in deep into that chest. Just a few more pulses like this. Try and open up the chest as much as you can. Then we're going to lift the right leg up to the sky, bend the heel towards the glute, three-legged dog. Then on your next exhale, we're going to step that foot to the top of the mat in between the hands, coming into a high runner's lunge. Keep your hands firmly pressed on the mat. You can pulse your hips up and down, maybe shift forward and back, just to get into the hip. This will really be opening up the left psoas, the left hip flexor, also the right glute. So just find whatever feels good for you, gaining mobility in this deep runner's lunge here. Now drop the left knee down, untuck the toes, low lunge. Inhale, lift the arms to the sky, open up through the chest. Hold here for a few breaths. Keep that spine nice and tall, gazes ahead or up to the sky. Knee is stacked over the ankle. Then twist over to the right side, reach the right hand back for the left knee, reach the left arm overhead. Gazes up to the sky here, opening through the chest, but also getting in deep into the right glute, the right hip and the right IT band. You'll also feel this in the left psoas again. Keep holding, keep lifting up, maybe come up onto your right tiptoes. Then come back to center, arms to the sky again. Release the hands down to the mat, push the hips back, exhale, come into our half split pose. Bring the right foot up onto the heel, melt the chest down towards the thigh, nose to knee if you can here. Stay up on your fingertips and allow your chest just to sink down so that that nose can come to the knee. Hips are square to the top of the mat and just hold, folding from the hips. Come up halfway and then bring that right leg back towards the left so that the knees stack on top of each other. Allow the sit bones to come down to the mat and come into our shoelace pose. So again, the knees are stacked on top of each other. Each heel is coming towards the opposite glute. This is a really great stretch for the IT band and the hips. Hold onto your feet or take your hands forward. You can either sit upright or you can fold, whatever feels good. If you're folding, bring the chin slightly over that top knee, that right knee, and just feel that deep stretch in the hips, also in the lower back as well. Again, try to make sure you're folding from the hips here to get that optimum stretch. Begin to rise if you are in a folded position and bring your spine nice and tall. On your next inhale, bring your arms to the sky. Exhale, left hand comes down to the mat, right arm comes overhead, gaze to the sky. Notice the stretch in the right side of the right leg, opening up the IT band. Inhale, come back to center, arms to the sky. Exhale, fold this time to the other side, left arm overhead. Notice the difference between the stretches in the legs, so this one may get into the left leg a bit more. Then come back to center, bring your hands out in front of you, and we're going to come into a 4-point kneeling tabletop. Uncross the legs, kick the right leg out behind you, and then with control, lift up the left arm and coming into our bird dog, the final pose on this side. Engage through the core. Keep that spine nice and flat, gaze is ahead, find that balance, find that drishti, the focus point. Hold for just another deep inhale, and exhale, release the hand, release the leg. Tuck the toes under, and then we're going to push the tailbone to the sky, downward facing dog. Now we're going to repeat that on the other side, but just take a few breaths here, relax the legs, relax the spine, relax the upper body. When you're ready, inhale, extend the left leg to the sky, bring the heel towards the glutes. Hold for a breath. Then exhale, step that foot between the hands, coming into our high runner's lunge with your hands on the mat. Gaze is ahead, and remember you can take those pulses or you can shift backwards and forwards, finding mobility in the hips, the psoas, and also the hamstring as well. Just take a few deep breaths here. Feel that stretch, this time in the right leg and also in the left glute. This is a really great stretch for runners, hence why it's called runner's lunge. Just a few more breaths here. Keep that gaze ahead. Now lower the right knee down, untuck the toes, inhale, lift the arms to the sky, open through the chest, push the hips towards the mat, opening through the right psoas again. Really find that deep stretch in the lower back as well and in the left glute. When you're ready, twist over towards the left hand comes down to the right calf, right arm overhead, gaze to the sky. Open through the chest, find that twist through the spine, through the belly button. Really feeling this again in the right psoas, right hip flexor, left glute as well. Take a few deep breaths here, open through the chest a little bit more, reach a little bit further with that right hand. Then inhale, return to center, both arms to the sky. Exhale, hands to the mat and push back into our half split pose. Extend through the left leg, come up onto the heel, hips are square. Exhale, fold and bring that nose to the knee. Staying up on your fingertips to get that greater range of motion. Bending from the hips, not rounding through the upper back. Again, take a few deep breaths here. Close the eyes and feel that stretch in the back of the legs. Come up halfway, and then we're going to step that left leg over top of the right and allow the sit bones to come down to the mat. Stack the knees on top of one another. Bring the heel to the opposite side of the glute, really pulling the heels as much as you can towards the glute to get that optimum stretch. This time we're really stretching the left leg, that side of the leg, the IT band. If you wish to fold here and go a little bit deeper, then please do. Even bringing the chin down towards the knees, jutting it slightly forward so that you come over the knees, making sure you're not rounding through the upper back. If not, then just stay upright, holding on to the feet, pulling the heels towards the glute. Make your way back into our upright position. Inhale, arms to the sky. This time we're going to bring the right hand down, left arm overhead, stretching over to the right side. Gaze to the sky here. Open through the left side of the leg. And then come back to center. Inhale, both arms up. And then stretch over to the other side, right arm overhead. This time gaze to the sky. Open through the chest and through the legs. Feel this in the hips as well. And then when you're ready, on your next exhale, return back to center, come to an upright position. Both arms to the sky, then place them out in front of you. We're going to come back into our 4-point kneeling pose. Uncross the legs when you meet me here, and extend the left leg out, back behind you, point the toes. Reach the right arm out in front of you, find your balance, bird dog pose. Engage through the core. Tuck the belly button into the spine, keep that spine nice and flat, gaze is ahead. Keep that balance, keep that drishti focus point. Lift that left leg a little bit higher, squeeze the glute a little bit more. You're almost done. And release the hand down. When you're ready, release the leg. Wonderful. Tuck the toes under, push the tailbone to the sky, downward facing dog. Find that stretch in the sternum, in the back of the legs again. Take a little moment to relax in this pose. Then we're going to round the spine forward, coming into plank. Tuck the pelvis under, push back in towards the heels, but keep your knees off the mat for a moment. Really burn out the quads, burn out the legs. And then relax the knees down, untuck the toes, coming into child's pose. Arms are out in front of you, stretching out the upper back. Forehead to the mat, chest is coming down to the mat, melting that heart center, finding that connection. Hold here for a few breaths. Now, keeping your forehead down, we're going to take our arms up towards the sky, interlace the fingers, opening through the chest, opening through the shoulders as well, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Feel this opening, draw your arms up to the sky as much as possible. Try and keep your shoulders in line with the hands as much as possible, but that will make the stretch super deep, so only go as far as you want. Hold for just a few more breaths here. Then on your next inhale, we're going to rise up, keeping our arms behind us, coming into a kneeling position, opening through the chest here. Then release the hands, come back into our kneeling posture as we started with. Now make your way to the center of your mat in seated easy pose or whatever feels good for you. Join your hands over heart center and join me in saying Namaste to end the practice. Namaste, friends. Have a lovely rest of your day.